Chairman, IIM Calcutta, Shri Krishna Kulkarni, Board of Governors, Professor Saibal Chattopadhyay, Deans, Program Chairs, faculty, parents, students, media. It's really an honor to be here. I have to first thank IIM Calcutta for inviting a retired, unemployed, private citizen called Uday Kotak. Thank you very much. I want to first share the sentiments with the chairman echoed, starting with a huge round of congratulations to each and every graduating student. Second, to every member of the faculty here who has taught you. And third, of course, most of you students believe you know more than your parents. But on behalf of being a part of the parent club, a very, very serious thank you to all the parents. And parents, I'm sure you now realize that most of the time, your children will tell you, we know it all. I'm sure you're going through that phase like I am going through. So I want to take this opportunity today to share first a little bit of my journey, which now, as you know, I've formally retired from my job after a period of more than 40 years, and take you back to more than 40 years ago. And I have some candid confessions to make. So one of the confessions, friends, is after I completed my graduation, that is the undergraduation from Mumbai, I was vacillating. I could not make up my mind whether I wanted to go for CA or I wanted to go for MBA. Actually, I wanted to do nothing. I wanted to have fun in life. I'm sure all of you went through similar phases. And after a lot of vacillation, I decided to do an MBA. And I took the easy course out, not the difficult one which each of you have. I took the easy course out. I did not apply for the IIM exams. It was too difficult. I took the simple way out. I went and applied in Mumbai. Some of you may have heard it, most of you may not even have heard it. An institute called Jamnalal Bajaj Institute. Went for an interview, got my admission, and I said, thank God, I don't have to be able to take the stress of not making it into an IIM exam. So the first congratulations to every one of you. You have done it to actually get through the exams which are very difficult. And then I had a great 2 years in college. And I'll share some of the experiences. I learned a lot from my professors. There was one particular professor whose name was Professor Mankekar. He took us in a class of corporate finance. And he demolished all the demons we had about finance and explained in simple language discounted cash flow and the importance of cash flow over profits. But then, as I got more and more into him, I saw that after the class, he would be walking away from Bajaj, which was at Church Gate, towards the Bombay Stock Exchange. So one day I asked him, "Sir, why are you going like this? What is the reason you do this?" He said, "I am implementing my theory in practice. Therefore, all that I learn in here, I implement and test it in real life." And I can say, I learned a lot at his feet. And actually, first experience in the stock exchange was literally holding his finger and going with him to the Mumbai Stock Exchange, where I understood discounted cash flow into valuations of companies' translation. But therefore, I am always of the belief that gurus matter a lot. And always keep that in mind, friends. And thereafter, I started a small little company after my MBA. So I don't know what happened to the placement record of Bajaj, whether they put me as unplaced or whether they considered it as part of placement. I still haven't figured out. But I said that I wanted to do something which was entrepreneurial. And boy, it was very, very difficult in the early days. And I can tell you the success in entrepreneurship is very low, but you only see the success stories, not the stories of people who did not get to where they do. And therefore, I have a mantra in life that the best students or people I would love to hire are people who have tried their hand at entrepreneurship, found it difficult, and come back to work in a professional firm. And those are the best quality people. And it brings me to some of the most important lessons, friends, which I would like to share with you today. And the first lesson is the lesson of what I call as professional entrepreneurship. There is an entrepreneur in every professional, and there should be a professional in every entrepreneur. And I would therefore encourage each of you, in whatever you are doing, keep in mind, mix and blend the concept of professionalism with entrepreneurship. And it's a very powerful mix. Think about your job from what is one, of course, you have learned a lot to be professional, to do things properly. But always, along with that, think about it that if you were the owner of that business, what would you do as right for the business in addition to what your professional approach would be? So combine this and mesh this together, and you'll get a very powerful success over a long period of time. And I can say that we were very fortunate at Kotak that our entire team of professionals, a lot of them, one of my very early recruits was an IIM Calcutta graduate and who was with me for many, many years. And he retired from there. He continues to be on the board of our bank as well. And I can say that the professionalism combined with entrepreneurship, which some of the colleagues I have across from many IIMs, is truly outstanding. So keep this heady mix with you. It's like a chemical composition which you must keep. Keep an owner's mindset with complete professionalism as you build your future. And that's something which has worked for me over many, many years. I want to actually step back today and also tell you that the situation when we passed out and our journey versus the journey you will go through in the years ahead is going to be very different. And that brings me to my second important point. In our times, over the last 40 years, other than the last few years, we never had to bother about things which were beyond our imagination in those days. But it is a reality of life today. You today run the risk in the next 20 to 30 years, colleagues and friends, of the challenge of planet Earth. And you may not have the luxury of time as many of us enjoyed. And the speed at which the sustainability challenge is happening to the planet is mind-blowing. All that it takes is a little melting of the Arctic ice, and many, many cities in the world will have water levels above the land levels. And this is more likely to happen in your generations compared to ours. And therefore, bring to the fore the purpose of life, something which the chairman also alluded to how are you going to think about the larger purpose of your being, and how are you going to make a difference to the planet and its sustainability. And frankly, it's a battle of speed and time. Over the next 20 to 30 years, the current challenge is the existential model of planet Earth runs the risk of getting into trouble faster than the business model of planet Earth to solve the problem. Therefore, use your energies to see how you can be a part of a solution which would be for saving planet Earth. And I can tell you, in doing this job, there is a significant business opportunity also there, because people who embrace the part of sustainable development and transition business for saving planet can also have very profitable business outcomes as you go forward. Therefore, whichever corporation, whichever company you join, I would strongly recommend you as fresh-minded people to be out there to say that let's find solutions about how we will manage our contribution to the planet and what can each of you do it. This is not an understatement, friends. The next 20 to 30 years are going to be volatile change in the way the future is. And that brings me to the next point. So moving away from the planet to the running of the governance on planet, which is the next point which is coming in. We are in the best of times and we are in the worst of times. And I here want to share my own little experience as I grew up as a kid I used to stay with my grandparents and on the lap of my grandfather, who was born in 1906 and who had seen the very bad times between 1929 and 1945, which is the Great Depression and the World War. The world from 1945, friends, has not seen any point of time a dislocation of the scale you saw in those 15 years in lives, and therefore is very comfortable that when things go wrong, there is a natural presumption of going back to the mean, which means things, if they've gone bad, if something has gone wrong, it will be reversion to mean. Please be ready that in your generation, what if that reversion to mean does not happen? How are you going to cope up with it? You've seen massive dislocation during World War II of a whole community called the Jewish community. You've seen people moving away from countries, continents, seeing the near and dear ones no longer there. Destruction of wealth and destruction of values of corporations and businesses. After that, from 1945 to 2024, which is nearly 80 years, we have seen a world which is always reversion to mean. How prepared are we and the next generation for that outside chance? And I think the probability of that has certainly increased than in our generation, that the reversion to mean does not happen. How ready are you able to manage that kind of crisis management? And that brings you to the core, that whatever you do, do it for a larger purpose. The purpose cannot be just about what you're doing and making day to day. It's about how are you going to be a major contributor to massive change which will happen in the next 20 to 30 years. I look at our own lives. Till 1970s, that means till I was 15 or 16 years, there was no television. Forget the mobile. The mobile revolution hit us in the late 90s. There was no mobile till then. We have seen such a huge amount of change in our generation. And therefore, the speed of change, if at all, is getting faster. And you're now in a world where people are saying that AI is going to replace the role of traditional engineers to build a lot of skills which will not need engineering talent as it did in the past. And this is a statement by the NVIDIA CEO a few weeks ago. So the speed of change, friends, has gone much faster than the generation we faced. And how ready are you to manage your mind and body motion to the speed of change which you'll go through? For us, between the television and the email and the mobile, we had a 20-year period. Your change will happen in weeks and months. And some of the changes, you will see it in the next few years as you go forward. And that brings me to a very important point for your future. You have to be extremely alert. You have to be extremely on the ball. To use an extreme phrase, be a little paranoid, because change is happening at speed. And the MBA course has given you a framework, but what you have learned here will also undergo a change. Therefore, how you have framed your learning, whether it's in college or post-grad, to be able to be a part of the change which will happen in your lives is going to be a very crucial part of your growing up. And therefore, I say in many ways, I have great hope for your generation, but I also believe this generation is going to get a lot of surprises, and surprises more than what we have seen. And in that context, I would also like to bring about a little bit about India and its future as you build your careers in this country. The India, when we were in college, was a very different India than the one you're seeing today. Most of my friends, after college, went away. Many of them are in different countries. A lot of them are in the US. And India was, for the younger generation, not the place to build a lifetime or a career. I think this has changed. And this has changed structurally and fundamentally. The India of today gives a lot more confidence, a lot more security, and a lot more ability for you to build your careers in this country. And walls from anywhere in the world to India have also broken thanks to social media, digital world which you are seeing in. And therefore, you can actually be in India and cover the world, and the world can be covered from India and vice versa. Therefore, wherever you are, as they say, geography is history. And you can actually build a career of an idea which can be taken globally. So India has a lot of successes. I think India over the next 10 to 20 years is a great opportunity. I wish for India to see it certainly in the third place in the next 5 years as an absolute GDP. But between now and 2047, I would like to see an India with a $30+ trillion size of economy, and more importantly, the distribution of a per capita to at least a middle income country, proper middle income country of $15,000. And you are the people who can make that India dream happen. We will watch, we'll applaud, we will give you advice, but the work and the hard work has to be by you. And the next 25 years are the most exhilarating and the challenging years of your lives. And I wish I was your age and starting all over again. So you have the opportunity, take it and grab it like never before. On that note, friends, when one of you come and address from here, probably in 2047, I hope you can share with all the people here and say that India is the top 2 country in the world and we have made it happen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.